Now, Conklin and Company continues with Take 3, commentary and analysis from our panel of political contributors.
Welcome back, everyone. And then there were 12 vying for 6 Toledo at-large city council seats. And our Bill Horman, over the course of the campaign, giving you a look at two of them leading up to all 12, leading up to the November general election. And the question is, give us an idea, if you would. And here's our Bill Horman.
I am fed up, I'm tired, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
You're probably familiar with Bill Delaney. He's a 72-year-old bar owner, a first-time candidate running as an independent. He is tangled with city government over the smoking ban and wanted us to meet him at his bar because now he's fired up about fire inspections, which he thinks are unnecessary.
Where is our money going? Give me an answer.
It's that feistiness he wants to take to council, to fight for taxpayers and businesses. And when we asked him to give us an idea on why he should be elected to council, he said it's because of his honesty in fighting a city government that hurts businesses.
They have never done anything for small business except fee us to death. It's about time they changed it around a little bit.
It's not responsive, it's not friendly.
Jim Nowak is a 62-year-old lawyer who ran for council in the 1970s and is running again as a Republican. Jim sees poor police allocation, high taxes, and a hostile attitude towards small business as crippling Toledo's progress.
People around us are willing to compete, and they're being pretty successful in taking away those jobs, those businesses, those taxpayers.
Jim wanted to meet us at the Lighthouse in Point Place. It's called the best place any place. He says Point Place learned you can move forward by looking out for the interests of everyone. And he gives us an idea that as an at-large member on council, he will help advocate for Point Place and every place in Toledo.
They're all competing for city dollars, city services, but we have to not lose focus on that number one point. This is a great place to live.
All right, our Bill Horman with that report on Bill Delaney and Jim Nowak. And Tom Troy is here from the Blade on Take 3. Tom, let's talk about these candidates specifically. Right. Okay. Not top 6, toward the back end of the top 12. Right. But do these gentlemen have a chance to break through that top 6 spot?
In a word, no, they don't. They do have a chance, of course. Everybody. In your opinion, right? Everybody has a chance, but history tells us that these races are pretty well set by the time of the primary. And you saw generally the top, whoever comes through the top 6 in the primary, typically those top 6 make it through in the general as well. Now there's been a couple instances in the past where the person who was 7th bumped back into 6th, and somebody who was in 6th or 5th bumped back out. It's very tough to get from that top of those 12 to get into the top 6 when general election occurs. All
right, tough road to hoe, just over a month for candidates like that. You have a businessman and another businessman, a lawyer and a bar owner who, and we've known perhaps both names over the years we've seen. So not totally unfamiliar at all.
Not at all. Bill Delaney, known for his stand against the smoking ban, and Mr. Nowak has been involved in politics really going back to the 70s, I think. I think he ran for the House of Representatives at one time. So certain amount of name recognition both of these fellows have.
All right, maybe a shot. We'll see. History says it's going to be a long shot at that. Right. All right, back to the mayor's race. Collins Bell forum this past week at the Ability Center of Greater Toledo, but the talk turned a bit to Southwick Mall.
Well, most of the audience there were associated with the Ability Center, but the conversation was really not about disabilities issues so much as general subjects, the things everybody would be interested in. And Southwick came up, and it was kind of a moment that I didn't think was very good for Mike Collins. It revealed sort of a political tin ear that I think he's got to quickly adjust. He expressed some concern about the owners of Southwick, who had been sued by the city for not mowing their grass well. And he said he was concerned. He apologized to them for the city's response. And I think an average person might say, I don't know if I would waste any crocodile tears on the owners of Southwick. A lot of people are very concerned about the appearance of that facility.
Well, and didn't Collins say, I've been in conversation with the owners?
He said he's been in conversation with the owners.
Where the mayor said, hey, we don't have control. We can't do anything until we have control. So what does it mean to say you've had conversations with the owner? What does that?
The whole thing was confusing. The mayor broke a little bit of news in that he indicated he would like the city to be in control of the facility. Don't know what he meant by that. I don't know if he meant he wanted to buy it or just, or what. But Collins made the point afterwards. He goes, the city has enough vacant industrial development property. It doesn't need to add another site to the list. Collins is in touch with he's the district councilman for that area, so he takes it upon himself to try to maintain contact with the owners of the old mall, what used to be the mall.
But I'm not sure what that's
sure what it's
doing
gaining.
For anything. Right.
You know, for 4 years now, it's been nothing but an empty lot.
Yeah. Okay. So that continued to be an issue going forward. So you have that, but maybe a bit of a lull, little over a month out. It doesn't appear that things are really ramping up. Great guns leading up to November. The governor's race in the news this past week, though.
Right.
The 2014 governor's race, both Governor Kasich, and Fitzgerald in Northwest Ohio.
Right. Right. Of course, Fitzgerald is trying to get some name recognition out there, and he's made repeated trips back to Toledo. Toledo is an important place for a Democratic candidate to be successful because it is a heavily Democratic city, and he has to be strong here. One of the issues was who's going to be his running mate. He hasn't picked anybody. Generally, he does that in January. He's going to do a little bit earlier. He says he's looking at some names out of the Toledo area, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody from Toledo might emerge to be in that group that gets considered for.
Well, we still have 30 seconds, so do you have any names you can drop for us?
Well, I would say he was standing out there with Edna Brown. I don't know, could Edna Brown be a candidate? You know, she's been very successful here in Toledo. Why couldn't she be the statewide running mate of Ed Fitzgerald?
All right, that'll be fascinating going forward for the next, well, we've got a year out now.
That's right.
Before we elect the next governor or keep the person who's in place. Tom Troy, as always, thanks very much.
Good
Tom
to be
Troy here on Conklin & Company, and also the world-famous Blade Briefing on 13 ABC. Make it a great Sunday, everybody. We'll see you next week on Conklin & Company.